Hey folks, welcome back to Black and White, here in Lacunosa Town. You can tell it's quite a bit more deserted than it was before. I prefer to take that line as a subtle metaphor for life and death, rather than just day and night. Anyway, the people of Lacunosa Town stay indoors at night, like most normal people, but, you know, that's just kind of not normal in the world of Pokémon. But they stay indoors because of fear of a giant, horrible monster that may or may not stalk the streets at night. And I'm not talking about like a pedophile or something, I'm talking about an actual giant monster. People claim not to believe the story anymore, but they still follow that old doctrine, so who knows? Anywho, Lacunosa Town itself doesn't have a whole lot of interest. It's basically just kind of some lore of that area over there that we'll be exploring. But it's got neat music, so I approve of it. And yep, that just about wraps up Lacunosa Town, so we can head over further east to Route 13 and that giant hole in the ground. Now to get to the giant hole in the ground, you need to traverse a little bit of this route, but not too much. Also, I don't know what that item is, and I don't care. It's probably like Jesus' blood or something, but I don't care. Anywho, head down there, take a little loop around to get to the giant hole, but before that, I want to take a little detour and grab this while I'm thinking about it. The Razor Claw. If a Sneasel levels up at night while holding the Razor Claw, it will evolve into a Weavile. Anyway, took care of that guy. And you'll find out later that was actually kind of silly on my part to do all that, but whatever. Let's head along this coastline. Surf around here. I think you have to surf. I don't think you can sneak through that little hole between the rock and the cliff. And a Prism Scale. Prism Scales are magical, wonderful items that aid in the evolution of Feebas into Milotic. I believe it's the Feebas is traded while holding the Prism Scale will evolve into Milotic, because you can't really increase beauty in these games. But the old evolution method does actually work if it's been transferred from a 3rd generation game somehow. Anyway, that's where we're going. Isn't it beautiful? And a little entryway here. I genuinely actually think the item placement here is a pretty clever way to insinuate things about the area. In here you'll find a bunch of star pieces and comet pieces. And that, coupled with the lore from Lacunosa Town, gives a strong implication that this shit is extraterrestrial. And if you didn't have repels on, or you're too low level for repels to work, you would be running into a bunch of Solrock, Lunatone, and Clefairy right now, all of which are notably extraterrestrial. And I'm not sure if you'll find them in this cave, but you will find in the next route Metang as well, which I guess are extraterrestrial somehow? I'm not really sure. But you know, back in the day, back when Red and Blue were the only games out, back when Mount Moon was the height of rad, there was a pretty common theory that Pokemon came from outer space. Delibird, I don't know what you're talking about, Delibird. What are you doing here? Get out of here. I'm showing Delibird because Delibirds are awesome. I'm not sure why it's here. But yeah, there was a very strong theory that Pokemon came from outer space. I think it was alluded to in the TV series. And Clefairy was kind of like the primo example, and maybe Mew had something to do with it as well. But since then, extraterrestrial Pokemon have become sort of abnormal. There's Deoxys, and then there's a certain Pokemon here. But other than that, it's been pretty normal for Pokemon to be regarded as terrestrial beings. Anyway, the Pokemon here are actually really high level, up into the late 50s, early 60s. So my repels don't actually work. At least not very well. So I'm running into a lot of Pokemon regardless of how much I want to run into them. Anyway, if I had waded through the grass, I could grab that item. That's the TM for Ice Beam. Which I don't need because, you know, I already have it. And this is actually, I don't want to say it's a maze, but it is actually kind of tricky to navigate. All these trees make it hard to tell what's a path and which path goes where. So, you know, every time I come here, I get a little lost and I loop around several times before I get my bearings and realize where I need to go, or realize how I need to get there. So here, you want to take a sharp right, turn down here, and get to this pool. Well, that was mysterious. This will happen regardless of season. And now we can get up these stairs that were previously blocked by trees. And inside this cavern we see a giant monster who stalks the streets at night. Yes, indeed you do. This is the third member of the trio to which Reshiram and Zekrom belong. This is Kyurem. The popular fan term for this trio is the Tao Trio, spelled Tao, but pronounced it's Tao, in allusion to that yin-yang symbol, with, like, the spinny things and the dots and the whatnot. My personal issue with that nickname is that Kyurem clearly represents gray, and there's no gray in the yin-yang symbol. It's just black and white. But clearly it is associated with those two other Pokemon. Not to mention there are various color themes. I don't remember exactly how they work, but something about the eye colors of one Pokemon being the predominant color of the other Pokemon aside from black, white, or gray. It's a little weird. Anyway, extremely high level, extremely dangerous, level 75, catch rate of 3. And for some reason, its AI is just the shittiest thing ever here, so Edmund is just hanging out in the low health range and not letting the cool music play. Anywho, catching these guys should be basically the same system you catch for anything. Get them into the red, paralyze, or sleep it. I usually go for paralysis just because it'll stay paralyzed. But, what the hell, Kyurem? You could, like, kill all my Pokemon in one shot, probably. But oh well. Dusk Balls are again the way to go when catching this guy, because he is in a cave. And because I have the cheat on, it only takes one ball, but he is hard to catch. Even if you have him under optimal conditions, it can take many, many attempts to actually catch this guy. See you in Gray version. Anywho, back in Lacunosa, I teleported with editing magic, and now we can explore Route 13 properly. Now, if you so desire, you can just plow on through, just fight a couple trainers, get to the next town. But if you are a kind Samaritan, you will help out this Wingull and find its dropped mail. And the mail won't appear until you actually talk to the girl with the Wingull, so unfortunately you have to do that. Thank you, good sir. There are 3 pieces of mail, scattered around, not too hard to find. This guy, I would show his fight, but he's the Magikarp guy. He's that guy who has 6 Magikarp. They're level 60, and they're Magikarp. I don't know what to believe. It's weird. Ugh. There has to be one. I know. Anyway, second piece of mail here. It's this one. And then the last one, I was a big dummy head and I forgot. Like, I didn't quite realize where it was. You'll see why I'm a big dummy head later when I actually find it. But exploring the rest of the route, Metal Coat here, you hold it and trade a certain Pokemon with it, including Scyther and Onix, and they will evolve into Scizor or Steelix respectively. Old Man here is the something that's been in each game since the 3rd generation. It will teach starter Pokemon super powerful elemental moves, basically elemental equivalents of Hyper Beam. I personally don't like them because I don't like Recharge, but you know, some people will roll with that. Ooh, another one. Anywho, our special Ripple Pokemon of today is Staryu. Staryu holds a special place in my heart because it is 1st generation, and also because Misty used one in the TV series. So, you know, it's just something about it makes it feel classic to me. Even though I don't think I've actually used one in a playthrough, in a personal playthrough or recorded, clearly. I still really like it. And it is another one of Pokemon that may or may not be extraterrestrial. But it does come out at night and float on the surface and glow in the light. And that's your assignment for today. So again, plenty of Pokemon here. Most of them previously seen as in other like games. There's the Deep Sea Scale. You'll remember a couple episodes ago we got the Deep Sea Tooth. Deep Sea Scale evolves Clamperl into Gorobus rather than Huntail. Anyway, I do kind of like this route in that you need to surf a little bit to get around to several little distanced islands without it being really annoying like most water routes. And we're already on the southern end of the route, and we haven't found that 3rd gram. Mysterious. Anyway, at this point I didn't really remember what I was doing, so it was kind of like fighting these and hope I found the gram on my way back. I will admit my fallacy. Cliff. What is on this cliff? Yeah, I reiterate. This route is mostly trainers and items. It's just they're cool items, like Psychic. Psychic's a good item. You want Psychic? Everybody wants Psychic. Anyway, one thing I neglected to show off here was if you surf here, you can go down this little inlet and get a very special prize. This is the introduction to various plates. Plates were introduced in the 4th generation, firstly as move power boosting hold items, but also as ways to change the type of Arceus, the 493rd god Pokémon. When it holds a certain plate, it will change its type, which is a neat idea. If only Arceus was, like, not so broken, it might be fun to use in-game. Anyway, there's the 3rd gram up on that cliff. It's weird, because you remember that I went up on that cliff before, and there was not a gram there. There was a Razor Claw, but it didn't appear until I talked to the girl with the Wingull, so I didn't think to go there, because I'd already been there, and I'm a foolish, silly person. But that is all 3 grams, so let's return them. Wingulls have been used as mail carriers since their introduction. There was a Wingull mail carrier between Fortree and some other town, I think Pacific Log, in Hoenn games. And then Pelipper was a common mail carrier in the Mystery Dungeon games. Anywho, that takes care of Route 13, and now we can just head south a bit and get to Undella Town. I do not bike a lot in this playthrough, because I don't want the bike music to interrupt the route music. And that takes care of Route 13. Next time, we'll be exploring Undella Town, the various people associated with it, and the various areas associated with those people. So I will see you guys next time.